My documentary Here Comes a New Challenger, exploring and celebrating the legacy of Street Fighter II, is now available on Amazon Prime. The documentary delves deep into its creation, its port to the home consoles, the merchandise, the live-action movie, and more. For those who love physical media, you can purchase the Blu-ray from my Shopify store. The Blu-ray is region-free and includes special features. Follow the links below to check it out.
For to those that control Grayskull will come the power. The power to be supreme. The power to be almighty. The power to be masters of the universe.
Now out from Umbrella Entertainment is a limited edition release of Masters of the Universe on Blu-ray. The live-action film arrived on the HD format from Warner Bros. A number of years back, and over the last few years there's been a couple of collector's editions released, with added postcards and posters etc. from other labels, but nothing extra in terms of special features. When it was originally announced by Umbrella, they had intended to have a different cover, making use of the artwork produced, I believe, by Mattel, which was really nice to see, but for whatever reason they changed it due to legal reasons or couldn't agree on the license fee, so they swapped it for something a bit uninspired, just grabbing an image from the film with Skeletor doing his opening speech once he takes over Grayskull. Thankfully they changed it again, and it was the image used for the alternative movie poster that we've all seen before. A bit better, but not as unique as their original direction for the cover. This new release includes a bunch of new extras and a swanky box set, but unfortunately it's not a new remaster of the movie, it's not in 4K, and it's the same transfer issued by Warner Bros. So it exhibits a nice image overall, but has some issues with the grading and colour balance, in particular with the ending shot of Skeletor popping out of the water and his face is all green, which was never there in prior releases on VHS, Laserdisc and DVD. But overall the image is fine, but now dated and needs a nice upgrade. So what do you get with this new edition of Masters of the Universe? You get a set of postcards, a mini reversible poster, and an extensive booklet with a write-up by author Austin Trunick of the Canon Films Guide, and with additional notes from director Gary Goddard, with production stills and storyboards. This is a great book and a superb inclusion. Now in terms of special features, they carry over the commentary director Gary Goddard did for the DVD many moons ago, and the theatrical trailer. The new material is the extended interviews director Mark Hartley shot for his fantastic documentary Electric Boogaloo, The Wild Untold Story of Canon Films from 2014. Mark is the producer of this new release and includes all the material he recorded covering the film, with full interviews with Gary Goddard, Dolph Lundgren, producer Edward Pressman, visual effects expert Richard Edlund, writer Stephen Tolkien and production designer William Stout. This totals around 1 hour and 30 minutes. This is the main highlight of the extras and the reason I purchased it.
Master certainly, I think, beats Superman 4 in watchability, and over the top, I don't know.
Also included is a 4-minute discussion from these interviews with Lundgren, Goddard and director Albert Pyun, briefly chatting about the ideas for the intended sequel, which Pyun was signed on to direct. This film never happened, of course, but the early pre-production elements and costumes were brought over to the Van Damme film Cyborg, which Pyun would direct. There is an old featurette promo recorded back in 1987 included, with interviews with Dolph Lundgren and Gary Goddard, but it appears Umbrella have just downloaded it from YouTube, as it was posted on the site over 8 years ago. As it exhibits that soft low bitrate look, it's very obvious. I'm never that impressed when labels just grab stuff from YouTube and release it on a disc. It's like those dodgy labels in Europe that do that when they can't get hold of the original source material. A nice addition is an HD scan of the 35mm teaser trailer. That's only been available in low-res quality for years, so it's great to see the exclusive footage shot for it in a decent quality. And the teaser even features deleted scenes. And finally there's a photo and behind-the-scenes gallery with some great promotional material. Now, if you are a fan of the movie like myself, it's quite easy to decide to put some cash down for it, but despite all the bells and whistles, it's a shame a new transfer wasn't produced, and the sound mix in my opinion sounds very quiet, as I had to whack up the volume to get anything out of it. The film was released before Dolby Digital and DTS, and makes use of the old surround sound of Dolby Stereo. But that's not a bad thing, as the film has a very dynamic surround track. It's a great mix, But this Blu-ray doesn't really do it much service. I have the old pan and scan Laserdisc and the Japanese version, which is in widescreen, but the transfer for that is not very good. But the US pan and scan release has a really loud and aggressive mix, making it a must-own if you are into the old Laserdisc format. Just recently, the 4K release of Robocop 2 includes the option to choose the old PCM Laserdisc audio, so clearly those involved with these remasters are aware of the quality of Laserdisc audio and are including these as options. If Umbrella had done the same, I wouldn't be complaining now. Heck, it would have been nice to have the option for a remixed surround track and presented in Dolby Atmos. I'm sure Warner Bros. Or MGM have those audio elements available to separate the dialogue, music and sound effects to create a new 5.1 and 7.1 mix. I suppose it was a matter of time and investment that maybe Umbrella weren't willing to make. Masters of the Universe is pure nostalgia for me, and despite the fans at the time being disappointed with it not being that close to the cartoon, it was missing characters like Orko, it didn't feature Prince Adam turning into He-Man, it clearly had budget issues as they spend more time on Earth than Eternia, but that never really bothered me as a kid. The performance of Frank Langella as Skeletor just makes it so watchable. Watching Dolph Lundgren grunting his way through the film as he battles Skeletor's robots always made me laugh. And the score by Bill Conti is incredible, because it basically just rips off Superman and Star Wars, which doesn't bother me at all. And I love the visual effects by Richard Edlund, shot in glorious 65mm film. It's interesting that this is the only Canon film that has a poster designed by Drew Struzan, and to my surprise it's one of his favourites. The set is definitely aimed at the hardcore fans. Importing this release from Australia may be a bit too much, which I can fully understand, and I'm sure many of you will probably want to wait until another boutique label, or even Warner Bros. Themselves decide to give Masters of the Universe a 4K upgrade, before you decide to buy another version of the film on the standard Blu-ray format. It's a nice release, but only for the hardcore fans wanting to add more He-Man merchandise to their collection. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click the like button and hit the bell to be notified of my latest reviews. Big thanks to my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel. If you want to get involved and gain access to exclusive videos and take part in Q&As, follow the link below.